everybody, welcome to a new episode of The Missing Factor. I am here today with my sister. Her name's Michelle. It's my sister. We are 13 years apart. She's older than me. And so we're just going to kind of talk about like some of the stuff that happened. Her kind of growing up in a house that had a hemophiliac, and some of the stuff that you went through.
Okay.
Okay. So what was when you first, because you were 13 when I was born, what was kind of going through your mind when mom and dad told you that I was a hemophiliac?
When I was told that, I was told by Dad over the phone, and he was very upset because he didn't understand what a hemophiliac was, what hemophilia was, and he was under the impression that you were going to die. So that was the first thoughts that I had when I was told, because that's what Dad told me.
So how did you kind of educate yourself?
The same way that our parents did, with going to the hospitals, dealing with the doctors, going along with them, seeing all the stuff that has to happen to a small child, a 6-month-old child that has hemophilia.
I know that there was a lot of trips to the hospital in order to get infused or anything like that, and Dad was always at work, and you were always the one that was woken up in the middle of the night and went with Mom.
Many 3 a.m., 2 a.m. trips to Cardinal Glennon, which was a 40-45 minute drive, with a screaming child that's in pain, and then spending 2, 3, 4 hours in the emergency room. It wasn't pleasant.
Do you remember if you ever had to stick me?
No, I have never.
You've never stuck me?
No.
I didn't even know that.
No. Hit you a couple times, but never stuck you.
Right, true. I guess what was the scariest thing about me being around you?
I wouldn't say it was scary. Nothing was scary. It was just cautious. Our parents really, especially Dad, made it so that you were almost hesitant to do anything with you for fear of you getting a bleed from whatever it was, roughhousing or just playing. You well, be careful. You don't want to hurt him. Be careful. He might get a bleed. And so there was always, but I would never say it was fear. It was more of just hesitation and just trying to be careful.
I remember a little thing.
I do remember one time, and this was kind of frightening, when you were teething, and Mom, and I think Dad was at work, and Mom came down to get me because she needed help. And so a child that's teething is, 7, 8, 9, 10 months, somewhere around there. I could be wrong. But
because you don't have kids.
Well, I have. I've just tried to block that. But in the middle of the night, coming to get me and going into your room, and your pillow was just covered in blood. Your face was covered in blood. Your hair was matted with blood. It was just, the sight was just really horrific, and there was nothing that we could do except put tea bags in your mouth to stop the bleeding, wet down tea bags to get it to help clot, and this went on, every time you cut a new tooth.
Wow. Just off the top of your head, what do you remember being the worst bleed that I had?
Oh, I think when I dropped you.
That was what I was going to talk about.
When I dropped you and bounced your head off the concrete step.
When I was little, my dear sweet sister decided to put me on her shoulders.
Nope.
It wasn't? It was
No.
on your back.
No, I was carrying you.
Oh, okay, then tell the story.
Mom was dropping you off, and she was heading back to work, and she was pulling out of the driveway, and I was carrying you up the stairs outside to the front door, and somehow, I don't even know how it happened, I tripped over my feet or something and went to grab your head and put my hand behind your head, and instead grabbed your neck, which obviously forced your head to go down even faster, and bounced it like a melon off of a concrete step.
Just split it right open.
Split it like a melon. That was one of the scariest. And then a few days later, after
the stitches busted.
The stitches burst and blood started squirting out all over the place.
It was like a scene out of a horror movie.
Yeah, there was a lot of scenes out of horror movies.
This is very true.
When you put your finger in the conveyor belt and cut your top of your finger off.
That's my thumb.
That was pretty good.
It was a lot of crap. For new families out there that are watching, what would be one of the biggest pieces of advice that you would give?
Well, it's different now because there wasn't the idea of maintenance. It was infused when needed, and I think now with the maintenance infusions that they do, is that the proper terminology? Prophylactic infusions. I think it's be cautious, but allow your child to be a child.
I think that's what a lot of parents today, they hear such negative things about hemophilia, and they're just so terrified because these doctors have them so scared, and they just won't let them do anything. They have helmets on them, pads on them. Do you remember some of my friends growing up?
Yeah, I remember the friend next door, some of the so-called friends that were down the street that weren't quite friends, and then they never came back. I'm not sure why they never came back.
She was a good big sister.
I think it was because I chased them down the street, told them I was going to kill them and beat them up. But once you got a little bit older, you had a very good set of friends.
Yes, absolutely.
That really stuck by you, and I think they helped you out a lot.
Yeah. And then there's some people in my family that wasn't necessarily there, so I had to definitely rely on my sister for a lot of that. And when I was little, we were enemies.
Couldn't stand him.
Yeah, we didn't like each other.
I'd pinch him just to see if he'd cry.
So we were driving down a very busy road.
He wouldn't stop crying.
And she stopped the car in the middle of the road.
Told him to get out.
Told him to get out.
Stop crying or get out. And he said, I don't want to get out. Then stopped crying.
It's scary.
He stopped crying.
Well, yeah. I didn't know where it was.
It worked. We were in the subdivision. You could have made it. You were 4. It's okay.
That was messed up. So on my last video blog, I had spoke about my nieces, your daughters. My oldest niece, Lauren, is going to get tested when?
Unsure when she's going to be tested. She'd been tested once and came back normal, but I'd like for her to go and get tested again by a hematologist, and
right.
I'm not sure it has the date yet.
What about Abby, the youngest?
The youngest will be going to she's been tested twice, once positive, once negative, and we have an appointment with a hematologist this week to go to get a final ruling. Right.
Mom said that.
I think our mom got tested, but.
And she said it was negative.
Yeah, but this was back in the 80s when the tests weren't quite as sensitive as they are now.
Well, I think back then they just kind of like punched you in the face and see if it swelled.
Yeah.
Right. Now they kind of do a little bit more of an easier approach.
I think the home support is going to be critical. The support of the mother, the father, the siblings is critical, because once the child is school age and they're going to school and they're different, maybe they can't do something because of the condition that they have, and kids can be really, really, really mean, and teasing and calling names, and that, coming from your peer, that could be really devastating. So I think it's very important to have a strong home life and a strong support system at home, and keep an open line of communication with your child so that you know that's going on at school, and that if intervention is needed by the parents, then you can take those courses of action, because kids can be mean.
That was good.
Thanks.
Good job.
Yeah.
And also, what's really cool, like even if there isn't a strong family bond or anything like that, there are so many outlets that are out there now regarding hemophilia, through Facebook, through your local chapters, through
Get involved.
it's just it's huge on how much support is out there.
That's a good point. The parents need a lot of support as well.
Very much.
So make sure you get involved in any of the groups and the organizations and the nonprofits that you can, because you need that support. You need to know what's the latest and greatest medicines that are out there, the new treatment systems that are out there, and that's the only way to really stay connected and involved.
There's a lot of stuff that's out there. I know that I'm involved in quite a few pages on Facebook that has to deal with hemophilia, and they're really helpful to stay informed with the new medicines that are coming out. Right now, there's the new half-life that's hitting the market, so it's always great to stay on top of that. Don't just kind of relax.
Don't rely on just your doctors
No.
to keep you informed.
Absolutely.
Do your homework. And if you're watching this, you've already started.
Yep. Because I'm amazing.
Yeah.
So that I will do it for this episode. Do you guys have any questions or comments or anything like that? Just let me know. You can always find my videos right here on YouTube at youtube.com/missingfactor8, or go to my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/themissingfactor. Check that out, like the page and everything, and like I always say, we are now over on webleed.org, so go check out that website. They got a lot of great information over there. So thank you guys. Thank you, my sister.
Thank you.
And talk to you all soon.
Bye.
Much love. God bless. Bye, guys.
Bye.